Hello, I'm Mark Baer. You're watching YourTown TV. My guest, James Bachez, and he is with the Dali 17 Museum. He is their business coordinator, I believe.
Business development coordinator.
Business development coordinator. So, welcome. So, before we get to Dali, let's talk about you because you've only been here a month.
Yeah, I just moved up to the peninsula to take the job, and I'm really excited about the history and the culture and the community here.
And so, before that, you grew up in Pasadena.
Yep, I was just south of Pasadena. I grew up in South Pasadena.
Okay.
I went to South Pass High.
And you were so you have an involvement in the arts, and you studied growing up, and
Yeah, I was trained growing up throughout high school at Art Center College of Design in traditional oil painting, charcoal drawing, the figure, the landscape, and an abstraction between the two.
and then to Boston.
And then to Boston. I spent 7 years in Boston cutting my teeth, creating businesses, developing businesses, consulting, and then the weather was a bit much, and California has this gravity to it, and it pulled me back home. So and I found this position about a month ago, and I was just really excited to join the team because it feels like a kind of a mesh between my background in creating art and in developing businesses.
So, coming here for the first time and having that beautiful museum right there on the water,
Yeah.
what was your impression?
Well, I can't complain. I mean, my break room is the ocean, and I get to promote and develop a beautiful collection of Salvador Dali's work.
So let's get to what you're here for. What is Dali 17? Let's start with the first question.
Dali 17 is the country's largest private permanent collection in the U.S. And it's an exposition of surrealist artist Salvador Dali, who's a Spaniard, and who called Monterey his home during World War II as a displaced artist.
And it's again, this is began as the private collection of Dmitri Peterman.
Yes, whom you had on the show.
Who's been a guest on this show, and who I call my friend, and someone who I think is just a great character.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, an athlete. Mm-hmm. He was an aspiring Olympian.
Yep.
He's done, and with Katya and Hillary have done an amazing job. I know how difficult getting this started was and developing this, and they're just doing a fabulous job. And now, welcome to the team.
Yeah, I feel honored. It's been a great team to get to know and become a part of for the past month. Really, the front desk staff, Hillary, whom is the museum coordinator, and Katya Semes, who's the director, have created a gem in the Monterey community, tying Salvador Dali's life and time here to the peninsula.
And so I think this is something that people don't know so much, is that Dali had a very significant relationship with this community.
Yeah, he did. Dali 17 referring to the original 17-mile drive, which began at the Del Monte Hotel, where Dali actually lived during 1941 to 1947. And the time he spent here was very influential in his work, in so much that he felt so fortunate to have been able to leave Europe during World War II that he threw an amazing party that people still talk about today, an enchanted evening
in the forest.
In the forest, yeah,
yes. Yeah. So, which the Dali Museum recreated and had a terrific event around. Lest we not forget that, and that was before you got here, but that was something pretty special. Let's talk about your membership program.
Oh yes, we just launched a membership program. It has a number of benefits, which include unlimited access to the museum. Annual access, a 10% discount at our gift shop, which is growing by the day, and discounts to speaker series, paint nights, family movie nights, and other special events that we throw, as well as member-only events. and of course being on our members' newsletters as well.
So something that I guess people should know about the Dali Museum, the work itself is very, as was Dali's way, it's very dense and intricate. You can go and look at a painting, and you can go to the Dali and spend a couple hours just going through 4 or 5 pieces. The work itself is so dense.
Yes,
It's not like you go through and you've been there.
Yeah.
It takes time, it takes study, it takes involvement. It's something that you can become more and more involved with, and so it's not the usual membership where you take a guest if they come from out of town or something, but you have the benefit of really looking at something and studying something and getting involved with this work that does take time.
It does. It's definitely a very unique experience. That's not just for tourists. It's for everyone in the community as well. Membership is very affordable, and it pays for itself after a couple trips. So that's why I love these new programs that we've been launching in just our first year. And I mean, our collection is vast. We have etchings, lithographs, tapestries, rare sculptures, and we are the only museum that exhibits photos from Dali's life and his party here on the peninsula.
So how's the community been getting involved, and what's the community relationship? Has it been?
We've had a great outpouring of support, not only at our events, but we have a great volunteer and docent program. Those who go through our curriculum haven't become acquainted and receive an in-depth knowledge of our collection and how unique Dali's print work is.
Now, I know one of the things that both Hillary and Katja are very cognizant of is that Surrealism was about the past, but it's also about the future, and it's a living, ongoing thing, and that I know that they and Dimitri, they've taken special pains to keep this museum as it's historical, but it's also a place of now, and I think that's been a very conscious effort there.
Yeah, I think Dali would have been tickled with joy to be at that Surrealist Gala that we threw, because it was definitely relevant to now and then. And Surrealism is just a movement that I've always admired as an artist myself, just because it taps into the subconscious, into the psyche, into the regions of our imagination and our subconscious that don't get too much airtime. And the technique that Dali used really made it hyper real, which I feel is still relevant in these days because we definitely live in surreal times.
Well, at the time of Dali, the word surrealism and the idea of surrealism wasn't in the vocabulary, and it wasn't it wasn't understood. Mm-hmm. And now that it is in the vocabulary, and suddenly you find yourself living in surrealist times again, that suddenly this has become a very of the moment, very au courant situation with surrealism. What it taps into, mm-hmm. how you perceive the dream world versus the real world,
definitely,
and unreality versus common reality. And when everything's flipped upside down, it becomes very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. The VR world is kind of the next step in that surrealist kind of ideas, and we're proud to announce that the Dali 17 team has put together the world's first full VR museum.
Oh, wow.
Which you can experience online and in the museum. You can come in and take a tour with a whole headset and VR wands to be able to step into a virtual reality museum that has our full collection.
God, this is the stuff I've dreamed about.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so how's that come about?
It was a partnership with a programmer, and they created and developed this program over the last year. And it's definitely a sight to see. You can learn more about it online on our social media and our website, dali17.com.
And so what? I mean, one of the things again, I'm very appreciative of the small things that are done there, particularly like the newsletter coming out every month.
Yeah.
It's a very good newsletter.
Thank you.
This is a good thing for members. You know, a good reason to become a member there.
Absolutely.
Because the newsletter is both informative. It's interesting, and there's always something. There's something new going on. And speaking of something new going on,
You got to plug this.
the new speaker series coming up. And can we go a little closer on that? Because who's that handsome fellow there? That's Pat Watson. But
who's
that's
that guy?
so. Yes, I love this. So anyway, I will be myself and Pat Watson, who is a very eminent painter here, a teacher at CSUMB, professor, and very interested in digital arts. And I will be showing some of my new work. And again, both the premise of Pat and myself is that surrealism is a living art form, that it can be redefined for the times. It's not something that's stuck in a period. And I'm sure Dali would have never wanted to be stuck in a period. He was always of the future. But let's talk about some of the other things that are going on with this series.
Yes, we have, like I have mentioned before, we have a Paint with Dali night, and that's a great program that we've had for this last year. And we have a local artist, Stitch, who's been a friend to the museum, and he works with Darls and Darls Fabrication. We've had, obviously, speaker series, family movie nights, surrealist movie nights, and we're looking forward to expanding our programs in the following year. Because we haven't even been here for a year. July 8th, Saturday, July 8th will be
Has it just
our
been
1
that?
year. Yeah.
It seems like you've been here a while. But,
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to Fred Nelson, who does great work with some of these movies. I know that they've recently bringing some of the Buñuel films in. The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie was just there, which is a fabulous film if you don't know these things. So, one of the things that they've been very good about, and Fred, I think, has had some influence on this, is showing that surrealism is more about than just Dali. You know, it's been, you know, there are the poets, there's the painters, and there's the filmmakers, and you've been very good about really covering the waterfront with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really look forward to your speaker series as well, so you can continue to add to the culture of the museum and the community. It's pretty exciting.
You know, one of the, as a longtime member of History and Art Association, this is the other another relationship with Dali 17 is that relationship. And as you know, a longtime board member and president of that organization, we are so thankful for you know, this breath of fresh air and this invigorating, forward-looking institution coming into our area. And the best part of this is, I think you've been, from my understanding of this, is you've been very, very successful. The traffic is up. People come here. It's become a destination. It's become all the things that it was intended to be.
Yes, it's been great. The community has definitely come together and supported the great work that Dali, his history here, and the great work that he's accomplished throughout his life, not just in Peninsula, but internationally as well. I'm just very proud to be a part of the museum, and I look forward to our second year and to everything that we're going to accomplish with the community.
So now that you've got here, how have you been able to kind of lay down a bit of an agenda for yourself with this? And
my first 100 days.
yeah, what's your first 100 days kind of looking like here?
Well, I work with organizations in the community, hotels, tour operators, to really promote the name of the museum, and to invite everyone, not just tourists, but members in the community and other stakeholders, to come and join us and to learn more about Dali's history here in the peninsula.
I know that there's been outreach to underserved communities as well.
Yes.
That's been a very, I know that's been something that you all have been very cognizant of, and
yes.
making sure that kids get in there and
yeah,
and see that. And so
Dali's work is very technically amazing. There's certain suites, obviously, that we
keep upstairs.
Keep upstairs.
Yeah, there's the lock and key collection upstairs. Which
yeah, there's definitely some humorous drawings and lithographs that depict some mature imagery, but for the most part, we do love it when families and children come and enjoy the work of Salvador Dali.
So, on a personal level, as an artist, having been able to now spend time in there and really look around, are you discovering a lot of new things in the work?
Absolutely. Dali's master printmaking is just has blown me away. I think a lot of people come to the museum knowing really not much about Dali. A lot of people come knowing having a lot of information about him. But I think everyone's takeaway is how prolific he was, not just a painter, but master printmaker, but a sculptor, creating tapestries, working in costume design, throwing parties, doing all of these amazing different things.
He was a great marketer. He was way ahead of his time as a marketer and as a personality, which he got.
Behind every great man, there's always an even greater woman.
Yeah, and Gala,
his wife, Gala, really marketed and ran his business.
They were real showmen, and he was very, having the art business, which you need today.
Yes.
That wasn't done at the time, and he was very progressive with that and took a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, I think he was pretty much trendsetter when it came to that,
And you've got the couch over there with the lips.
Oh yeah, we've got the Mae West lips all over the collection, which is great. I love walking in through the museum and seeing people sitting and chatting or experiencing the work. Like I've said, I feel very fortunate working at the museum, and I look forward to seeing it grow as the years go by. Yeah.
Welcome to the community.
Thank you so much.
I'm with James Bachez, Dali 17 Museum, the new business coordinator. You call him up, and if you've got things you want to do there, I recommend
Absolutely.
it. And it's a great, great museum, and we're all proud of it.
Thank you very much.